this video, I'm going to demonstrate actually layering glaze. So in this one, I want to work with these two colors. The key to this is a very opaque glaze, so I kind of want to know whether I should apply this over the top of this or underneath it. This is translucent, so this should show through it. I'm actually going to test both methods. I'm going to do this by first, I'm going to use some of this black glaze, and I'm just going to apply it to an area of the surface. In at least a couple of places, and I am going to kind of test what this looks like in different amounts of layers. So the first layer I'm going to leave as just a single layer of glaze. The next one I'm going to have 2 layers of glaze, and then the third one will be 3 layers. And clean up any excess mess that forms. You can get really detailed and fine with this. It just depends on the pattern that you want to make. And then I'm gonna let that dry. In the meantime, I'm going to apply my turquoise glaze to the bottom of this. Make sure that I get it on there evenly. And this glaze does tend to need more layers, so I'm gonna let that dry. And then I'm going to apply 1 to 2 more layers, just so that I get a nice even coat. And that actually looks pretty good as is, so I might stop with 2. If you can still see the surface underneath the glaze is too thin. And I'm gonna let that sit and dry. If at this point this has dried, I'm just gonna clean up the edge. I'm going to go ahead and apply glaze over that surface. And then I'm going to let that dry so that I can apply another coat. And I'm probably going to have to let this sit for a few more minutes before applying the next layer. Or I'm just going to go for it because the bottom is now dry. I'm going to just paint this black over top of this other glaze. And in this manner, by doing it this way and having information for both the glaze underneath the other color of glaze and layered over the top of it, it's going to tell me a lot more information about the surface and how the 2 glazes react together. A word of caution on layering glaze: occasionally, 2 glazes just don't get along, and they will cause very strange reactions. And without testing, there's not a lot of predictability in terms of what those things are. None of the glazes we're using should react badly to each other. However, occasionally it does happen. And so now that's completely covered up, so that's good. And I'm gonna test fire this and see how it turns out before I fully invest it in a finished piece.